Let's proceed with the editor or the script file to shape or to have the desired response in our way. So the plot function, it contains the variables and the attributes it's having. So the first attribute you mentioned into some spaces like apostrophe and some space like R you can have for red, and double dash you can have for like dashed. If you choose like dotted, it will have dot that way. And we'll be using, like, we can use another or other attributes as well, like line width is one of an attribute, and when you define it with like some size, let's say 2.5, so it just gets thick. Like you can have dash dot, like you can choose different colors also, like red R correspond to red if you perform B, or if you write B it will be in blue color, and so on. So let's try modifying it more. So we'll be adding in X label here, X notation, Y notation, the title, and something we'll be saying more. So X label is a function corresponding, or it will come only after you have plot command. So in X label it's a function, so round bracket, and inside we'll be appending or we'll be writing a string. So string is mentioned in an apostrophe form. So let's say T radian per second will be, let's say, we'll be assigning just to display here. So yes, it comes there. And similarly we'll be having Y also. So Y label, like Y label is a function, so Y label around bracket, and inside we'll have a string or the message we want to display. So let's mention it as Y. And similarly, we can add the title as well. So title is again a command, but one thing to note is, like, these commands are only valid if in a figure file. Like when you call plot or different functions, like different files we'll be seeing in further sessions. Yes, it comes there. And finally, we'll be adding something more, like if you have multiple shapes or wave shapes, so how to identify each of them. So that's something we'll be seeing now. So adding spaces in the program, or commenting, or some like extra attributes you add in, so it makes your program more clear, and when you refer it later on you have a feel. So again we'll be adding some legends. So again, legend is a function, so round bracket, and inside whatever you want to mention, you can mention a message or a string in apostrophe form. So let's check, or let's have an idea, like with different responses, how to manage the same scheme. So let's say y1 is for sin t, and we'll define some next variable, let's say y2 as for cos of t. So we don't want to mess up the things, so we'll be assigning that y2. So how to append this? We'll just add, like we'll just say the first in plot command, we'll just append next three attributes. So after like t, y1, r, we'll add in are again the same sets of the variables, like independent. So we'll be adding t, y2, and with different color, let's say blue, or the same sets will be copying to the right. So to differentiate, we'll just change it to blue, which is again a default value, and we'll assign it y2. And as we execute, we'll see the responses, but before that we'll change the legend as well, because we are having now two responses with respect time. So we'll add another with separated by a comma, let's say cosine. So cosine will correspond to the blue color. There we go. So we have now plots as we wanted. So let's make it more peculiar. Yes, we have dashed it, like dot dash we say blue, and we got some response, but it's not as desired. Like we want to have or zoom in or zoom out the responses. Like we want to focus mainly in some point or some way or some portion of the complete graph. So how to do that part? So we will call in another functions, something such as axis. Axis is a function, so round bracket. And inside we'll pass on an array which contains, array in the sense it will have only one argument, but it will contain four parameters, like which is x minimum, x maximum, y minimum, y maximum. So x minimum we want is 0, let's say, which is t, 0, and the maximum we want is 5 pi. And vertically we want, let's say it's 4, so let's add, let's say it's -4, -6 to 6. There we go. So again, you can chop on or you can modify the axis using this axis command. If you want to comment that axis, let's say, so you will add simply percentage, so it gets commented, so it won't be executed at all. So it's helpful if you want to remember, like if you want to write dates and so. And there's another substitute for this axis. If you want alone only y-axis to move, so you have like y limit or x limit. So y limit, again, it's having only one argument inside. So we should enclose it into a square braces. So let's say again -6 to 6 within a square braces, like only one argument, like an array. Yes, there we go. And similarly, we'll be zooming in the t-axis or the x-axis. So we'll be writing xlim, and inside we'll pass on the time value we want to magnify, let's say 0 to 2 pi. There we go. So we can now morph the response as we want. So, and if you want to check or modify or to highlight some points, you can add in the data cursor. And now we have the response, and we want to append or we want to accomplish some reports, or we want to make this response available as an image or another format which you can read in a system without Matlab. So we'll be just changing the save as type to, let's say, BMP or EPS or PDF. EPS and PDF gives more clarity. So when you press save, so it just highlights or it just get highlighted with white background. So it just take a snaps of that response. So as and how you morph your figure file, like as I stretched now, so you will have more the size. By default, it have that function, or you can morph it, or you can export. You can use an export syntax over there. So let's see our export, what we have accomplished, like what we have done for our response. So yes, so it's a surety, like it's of course in a BMP form, like bitmap image. And when you open, yes, it's the same. So from this you can make or you can shape in your response as you desire. But one thing to note is it's not that clear. In this session, we'll be seeing how to edit a response using plot toolbar. So first we'll be checking our present working directory using pwd. And we used last time the desktop to save the file, so it will appear on that about toolbar. And let's check whether the directory is the same. So you can again type in pwd. Yes, it's being changed. And when you type in list ls, so our program file name get listed. So you can just double click or open it, or you can drag and execute it directly. So let's get started. So we had our earlier file which we created. So as you run, we'll have the response popping up. Yes, it comes. So we want to make or we want to achieve the same configuration as it is visible now. So we'll without using the syntaxes over there. So let's try to bypass the syntax. So how to bypass? You can go on manually adding like percentage, or you can directly hit Control R, or just right click in editor. You will have different shortcuts. Yes, and we'll execute the part. Yes. So the effects which we added, it just vanished. So how to make it available again? So we'll just choose the cursor and double click to any response or any curve and double click it. So we'll have a plot toolbar or editor, plot editor will pop up. So you can choose any curve, let's say from red to blue. If I want to migrate, you can just hang in using that cursor value, or you can just explore more. And if I use text, if I select that text box or that access box, so it gets appeared there. So we'll add on X label. In seconds, let's say, and similarly we'll add on Y also. Let's say only we'll type in Y, and there we have limits as well, so we'll just change, but before that let's try it for X also. So we'll just write, let's say 6 pi, or rather let's make it 2 pi so that it will be visible. So it haven't took effect, but we'll shortly make it effective. So we'll just go on y-axis again, and we'll just type in -6 to 6. So X, actually I clicked that auto, so it's not took effect. It haven't took an effect. So in title we'll write plot of sinusoid, and when you just click in the command, yes, it get appeared. Now it became manual. Yeah. So we can insert the same part using the insert tab over the menu bar. And let's add the legend as well. So you can use that tab near window. And first we'll switch on to grid, and then that tab near window. And we'll double click on data 1 to edit it. And we'll write sine. And in data 2 again double clicking it, and we'll writing cosine or cosine, let's say. There we go. So, and we'll just switch off that cursor again, and we'll close it. So we have accomplished the same response as we made using program, but the limitation of this stuff which we did is, like, when you close, or when you just close, basically when you close that figure file, it will get lost. Like whatever you morphed it will get lost. So programming will be the best way to accomplish it. Like it will be more and more repetitive in a sense. So that's all.